Retro Finds number 2. This is the video series where I review some pickups that I've acquired at a few retro stores that I go to around Japan. Now, the setup obviously looks a little different this week. I'm in Tokyo for the next 2 weeks, and this video may be a little shorter. I only have 2 today. The first being Pokemon Yellow, or in Japan it's Pocket Monsters Pikachu. And I was really taken aback when I saw this one. Initially, I thought this was a new game. The box just looks so pristine. Now, unfortunately, on my way back to the apartment, I foolishly put this in my backpack, without any case or anything, and it got a little bumped up. That's my fault. That's okay, though. Actually, it was not expensive at all. I was unsure if this was actually a new copy or not. It turns out it's not. It is used, but just the condition of this box I was really impressed with. Now, this game came out in 1998 in Japan, 2 months after the first movie came out. There you go, Pikachu the movie, 1998. And it released the following year in the United States, around the same time as the first Mewtwo movie. And this was a huge game, at least in the States from my experience. I had received this Christmas of 1999. Now, this game was special because, of course, it followed the story of the anime more so than the original Japanese Red and Green and the Western Red and Blue. And it also had N64 software capability, so you could hook it up to the I don't remember the name of the actual peripheral, but you could link it up to, it says Pokemon Stadium, which was a really, really neat feature at the time. Also has Super Game Boy compatibility, as well as the Game Boy printer. I did not have that as a child. I'd like to pick one up at some point in the near future, just to test out the features that this game utilizes. Anyway, let's see what's inside. I believe this should have all of the original manuals. Now, first taking a look at the cartridge, this is what really clued me into the fact that this is not a new copy. There were a few, you can't really see it on the camera, but there were a few not scratches, but just a few blemishes. Otherwise, again, you really wouldn't know. There you go. Maybe you can know, this is probably my fingerprints, but you can see some scratches. This has been used before. I don't have a Game Boy with me, so I can't test the game, but it certainly has been used before. Not heavily, though, as you'll see with at least the condition of these manuals, and I'll go through all of these. I won't fully pull this out, but this is the same type of map that released with Red and Green and Blue as well, and it's a town map. Really, really nice artwork on this map. Next, there are a few advertisements. First, with the Game Boy camera and the Game Boy printer, as well as the print seal that they released as well. Now, here's an advertisement for the pocket camera. I did have some friends who had this, and we did have fun printing out some silly photos, but I don't think we were that impressed by it, to be honest. I believe they had the red version. I do like that clear purple version. That's nice. You gotta love transparent plastic. It's very 90s. And on the other side, advertising the pocket printer. So of course you could print your photos, and you just link them up with a special cable. You also had to buy the print seal, which is not too expensive. I'm sure you can still find one on eBay or Amazon or Yahoo Auctions. The next advertisement was for the Game Boy. Now, this was new at the time. You know, I was wondering why would they be advertising a Game Boy Pocket? Well, it was new at the time. I think a lot of people who purchased Yellow, they'd be playing on an original Game Boy. Now here's actually 2-scale Game Boy Pocket. I did not know they released this pink Game Boy Pocket. That looks sharp. And here's some of the colors that were released. Now, I could be wrong. I do not believe the clear purple released in the States. I know the Game Boy Color version did, but I don't think that came out in the States. The pink looks really, really nice, as well as the gray. And on the other side, you know, just your standard peripherals, AC adapter, headphones. Next is, well, we'll get rid of this first, just the typical notices that nobody reads. As well as a Pocket Monsters Stadium. Now, this did not, I believe this version did not release in the US. There were 2 releases of the original Pokemon Stadium in Japan. I think the version that America got was with Mewtwo on the cover in Japan. And, of course, there's the Game Boy Transfer Pack I was referring to earlier, which allowed you to transfer your team over into the game as well as play Pokemon Yellow, Red, Blue, and Green on the big screen, which was really, really cool as a kid if you didn't own a Super Game Boy. And lastly is the manual. And this does not, I mean, this manual is, I don't think it's ever been opened. This does not really have any clear differences from the red and green manual that I noticed. Maybe some different artwork. You know, they do go over the fact that you can walk around with Pikachu. That's a nice artwork of Blastoise. Of course, the main difference in this game, yeah, is it followed the anime storyline to a point and allowed you to choose Pikachu as your starter Pokemon. And of course, Pikachu followed you around. Could not evolve, unfortunately, but that's okay. You gotta love that original artwork of the gym leaders. Now, I believe that this is the game that most people prefer out of the original games. Of course, they updated the sprite work as well to be closer to the anime art style. If you haven't seen the original sprites from the Japanese version of Red and Green, they're not a pretty sight. So they really made them look nicer in this game. There's the 3 starters. Now you can acquire these starters in Pokemon Yellow, just in later points in the game. Again, some of the starting Pokemon that you can collect in the starting areas. Yeah, it's really no different from the Pokemon Red manual that I covered a few weeks ago. There's our friend Pikachu. Alright, well that's Pokemon Yellow. That was a really, really nice pickup that I found at Hard Off. Now the second and last game is Yu Yu Hakusho, and this is for the Super Famicom. Now this was a huge series in Japan in the early 90s, and I really, really enjoyed this series. I really enjoyed the characters, the storylines, the fights. It was a really, really great anime. There's the main villain, Toguro. I believe that, again, it's been a long time since I've seen the show, but there's the cast of characters. Now, this was not a standard fighting game. I believe this was more of a rock, paper, scissors kind of action game. More of a visual fighting game. I have not actually played this game, but I'm looking forward to it. Now, there's no subtitle. I believe there is one on the manual, but for now, it's just Yu Yu Hakusho. Now, I know that they recently released not a new series, but maybe an OVA of Yu Yu Hakusho that I would like to watch at some point. I don't believe it's too long. I think it's just 30 minutes. Here's the cartridge. Again, this is not new. This is not a new copy of the game, but it's in great condition. As well as the manual. Bit of a strange cut there. Now, okay, so there is a subtitle. Toriatsukai Setsumeisho. So this is the first game of 4 that were released in Japan. These were not released in North America, as far as I know. There's some great artwork of the characters. My favorite, I would say, now is Kuwabara. Didn't care for him at first, but he really grows on you as the series progresses. There's Hiei. Now, I believe a lot of people have serious nostalgia for these games on the Super Famicom. I've played the fourth and last game, but again, there's the sort of rock, paper, scissors controls. Definitely trying to look closer to the anime than, a Street Fighter type game that I believe the other games were more like. There's Kuwabara. Now, I think if we move okay, here we go. Now, actually, this is pretty neat. They wanted you to cut these out. These are character cards. And on the back of the character cards, it actually showed the move list, which is pretty creative. This is something you see in arcade games from time to time, but not so much console games. Now, of course, here's Urameshi Yusuke, Kuwabara, and their move list, Kurama, Hiei, Genkai, Suzaku. Some of these characters, maybe not some, maybe all of them, are from the first season of the anime. There's Rinku and Zeru. Chu. Now, he was always drunk. I remember that in the show. He was always drunk. I believe Yusuke fought him. Toya. Do not remember that character so much. Jin I believe he could fly. And Yo, again, not one I particularly recall. There's Shishiwa Kamaru. And Suzuki, I definitely remember that character. And maybe we'll go a little faster. Okay, there's Toguro. Now we have the brothers, of course. Believe they ended up being the same character. Again, it's not something I really recall. I hope that's not a spoiler for anybody who actually plans on watching this show at some point. And there's Botan. Now again, a bit of a shorter video. There's only 2 pickups. I am in Tokyo for the next 2 weeks, so I may do a few more of these videos if I happen to come across any more games. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me for the second video of Retro Finds, and I hope you look forward to more. Thank you.